affecting Africa as a whole. I also thank Professor Flo Lumumba for always being there for Africa as a Pan-African. I also thank him for the fact that he is now speaking the same language with us, and I really appreciate him for that. Also, welcome our viewers. Professor Lumumba has said a lot of things that I wanted to point out, and on that note, it is going to be a lesser problem for me. Professor Lumumba have pointed out a lot of things, including why have we ever wondered why the leaders in Africa are always going to some place to pay homage and get directive from them. Of course, this same question he has answered. I will also address it from my own perspective and from my own context. What is the problem of Africa? The topic today, as you said, is EU deployment in Africa conflict zone for political stability or for their own economic stability. First of all, the problem with Africa, especially the African leaders and Africans, is that when we take one step forward, we take 10 steps backward. What do I mean by this? I mean that when Africa take one step forward, they take 10 steps backward. We remember the history of Kenya, the history of Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta's father, when he was being persecuted for fighting for freedom of his people, Biafrans, and a Biafran leader in the name of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe gave him protection in Biafra land. We Biafra people, we stand very tall to protect the father of Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of Kenya today. That was a step forward. That was a step forward to serve humanity, respect for freedom, respect for self-determination. That was so many years ago. Today, in 2020, in 2021, Uhuru Kenyatta has paid that same Biafra with 20 steps backward. That is what I say is the problem of Africa. Our leader, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, were abducted in Kenya by the Nigerian government, kidnapped, taken to a private apartment in Kenya with the help of the Kenya authorities, police. Instead of Uhuru Kenyatta to offer something that Biafra people offered to his father, he betrayed Biafra. This is 20 steps backward. And I am calling on Kenyans today to know this fact before I go forward into making my presentation, that we are demanding Kenya to step up and make sure that our leader who was abducted in Kenya will be repatriated back to Kenya or where he come from. It is a breach of Kenya law. It is a breach of Kenya constitution. It was a breach of Kenya sovereignty, and the Kenya people must not allow this to happen, and they must not keep quiet. Nigeria cannot come into Kenya and abduct somebody from a different country, and you are all keeping quiet. So I'm calling on Uhuru Kenyatta to remember that Biafra people that he allowed Nigeria to kidnap today, we also offer the same help to his father. And as a result of the help we offer to his father, that is the reason why Kenya is as it is today. Kenya were able to be a better country today because of the selfless service, because of the sacrifice of the Uhuru Kenyatta's father, of which Nnamdi Azikiwe, a Biafran, and Biafra people were part and parcel of that sacrifice. Now, going further, whether this European invasion or presence in Africa is for us, is for Africa people, I will want to say this. I also thank Professor Lumumba for the fact that he acknowledged and agreed that in Africa, especially in Nigeria, we have a dangerous diversity. Dangerous diversity that must be dismantled for us to move forward and progress. Some of you do not understand how life works. For us to have a better life, for us to have a better and secure society, we need to undergo a very rigorous and tough process. Very tough process. I want to tell you that for a diamond to be formed, it has to undergo about 2000 to 2002 degree of heat, of temperature, to be able to form and become diamond. This is also a principle of life. For the world today, let me tell you one thing. The life we live in today, this global village, the Western world, the America, the Asia, that everybody is enjoying today, had undergone over 2000 degrees of temperature to become what it is. The European that are sending or deploying some troop in Africa for stability has also undergone 2000 degrees of heat to be able to become stable, to have the opportunity and the possibility to begin to send troops to Africa. How were they able to become this stable? They undergo wars. They went through wars. Wars. Let me now give a little bit illustration to this. For example, somebody who were giving birth in 1900, if you are giving birth in 1900, the process of the world becoming a diamond started in 1914. The World War First begins in 1914. So if you are born, or if you were born in 1900, at age of 14, you already witnessed the First World War. As the world continued to undergo the process of this 2200 degrees to become diamonds, when you become the age of 18, over 22 million people were dead as a result of the First World War. As time goes by, shortly after that, you had what we call the Spanish pandemic. The Spanish pandemic killed over 50 million people. This same corona you see today, we have had it. All these things are part of design for the world and the global village to undergo a very high degree of heat. Spanish flu killed over 50 million people. But if you were born in 1900, by then you are 20 years old. Then as you grow, at the age of 29, we had what we called the economic crisis, global economic crisis, which collapsed the New York exchange, causing inflation, unemployment, and hunger all over the world. So And if you were born in 1900, you were just 29 years old. The world was still undergoing the degree and the very highest degree of temperature for us to have a global village we have today. As you continue to grow from the economic crisis, you become 33 years, in your 33 years, 3 years later, or 4 years later, you have the Nazis coming to power in the West. And as the Nazis came to power in the West, you continue to manage your life and grow up to 39. At the age of 39, you have what we call the World War II. The World War II began when you were 39 years old. And that was what led to the Holocaust, where over 6 million Jews were slaughtered. That was the world and the global village undergoing a process. A process that will later shape in the world to what we have today. And in that World War II, over 60 million people died. And they were just 39 years old. At the age of 45, you have seen the Holocaust. So when you grow and continue to grow, you get to 52 years old. The Korean War began. It is a process. So those who were born from 1900 did not have easy life. But you know what? They paid the price. They made wrong decisions. There were wars, there were killings, and that has propelled the world to begin to think on a way to avoid crisis and avoid World War II or World War III. That led to the creation of United Nations. When you were 64 years old, the Vietnam War began. The fought Vietnam War until you are like 75 years old. Why am I saying this? Because if you were born in 1980 something, 1985 to 1995, you would not understand the history, how this world has undergone all manner of degree of temperature to be able to shape it the way it is today. As the world were undergoing this degree of temperature, it did not affect Africa. During the World War, it did not affect Africa. Africa was on their own. Most of them didn't see bomb. Like Hiroshima, they did not see bomb being thrown on Africa's soil. So, in 2020, you sit in your comfort zone and you say, we must not agitate for freedom of our people. In 2021, you say, we must all sit down and see Africa being destroyed. In 2021, we have seen opportunity how to reshaping Africa, how to restructure Africa, how to make Africa one of the best continents in the world. And for Africa to become one of the best in the world, it has to undergo a process. For those who are using South Sudan as example, that when Nigeria is divided, you are going to have crisis. For those who are using those countries like South Sudan to say, if you get Biafra, you are going to have crisis. Let me tell you, as you continue to allow the West to control you, claiming that in diversity, you are going to be better. Let me tell you this. If you continue to allow Africa to remain the way it is, you are only compiling the problem. It is mental torture. Mental torture. Because what is happening in South Sudan today shouldn't have happened if the freedom were given to them 30 years ago, when the war started in Sudan. The problem you have in South Sudan today, you are not going to have it. But because of the mental torture the Southern Sudanese went through for 30 good years involved in battlefield, it was as a result of mental torture. And it is going to take a while for Southern Sudan to come back to normal and become the best. And you see them attaining their best and best potential. Biafra fought a war with Nigeria. We were able to hold Nigeria for 3 good years. Biafra were recognized by many countries in Africa and other parts of the world. Today, we have come to say, because of the impunity in Nigeria, because of the dangerous diversity in Nigeria, because we want the best for Africa, we say we want the freedom of Biafra from Nigeria. And the more you delay this freedom of Biafra people, the more you subject Biafrans to mental slavery, mental torture, physical torture, that will also affect their mental reasoning, their brains, just the way the South Sudan are going, what they are going through today. The only difference why Biafra can never be the same thing with South Sudan is because Biafrans are more civil. We are scattered all over the world. We have governed ourselves before South Sudan. We have tested the sovereign state between 1967 to 1970. We have been able to govern ourselves during the Eastern region, and we are going to do it again, and we are going to do better. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that Africa needs to disintegrate to enable it have a very formidable force and unity. Before you talk about solving the crisis that made the Europeans to deploy troops to Africa, you need to know what is the root cause of this crisis. What is the root cause of the crisis? What is the root cause of the wars in Africa? The cause of the crisis in Africa is as a result of dangerous diversity. Every place you see conflict today in Africa is as a result of diversity. Cultural differences, religious differences, political differences, different political opinions, which are very dangerous as a result of many years of subjugation and slavery. So what I'm saying now is that the more you delay disintegration of Africa, which will start from Nigeria, the more doom that is going to befall Africa. What we are doing now is to save the future. We may not be the one to enjoy whatever we are fighting for today, but we are fighting for future generation of Africa. But if we continue to delay the disintegration of Africa, just like the European Union have it. You are subjecting people to mental torture, which will have a side effect, which will come with consequences. The consequences of such can be seen in South Sudan. South Sudan is a very good example, is a very good case study. Had it been that the United Nations came to the rescue of South Sudan like 30 years ago, you will not have the conflict you have in South Sudan today. But because they allowed them to continue to have the mental torture for over 30 years, how do you think you are going to be in war, fighting war for 30 years, and you are going to remain the same? You can never remain the same. And the people who are going to enjoy South Sudan will be the generation to come. This generation of South Sudan will continue to pay the price of long subjugation, of long slavery, of long mental torture, which the world subjected them to. We do not want to undergo the same process with South Sudan. That is why, if you love Africa, you must rise up today to agree and identify the fact that Nigeria needs to be disintegrated, and other African countries that feel that they are not the same need to be disintegrated for a better Africa to emerge. Today, we see troops from France. Why are the France or French people sending troops to Africa? Why are there the conflict there in Africa? Because of diversity. This diversity must be disintegrated in order for peace to return to Africa. When we divide Africa along tribal line, when we divide these countries along tribal line, French will not have no reason to send troops. But the more you delay this disintegration of Africa, the more you delay the disintegration of Nigeria, the more you are subjecting the people to mental slavery and mental torture. The more you are creating room for crisis when they eventually emerge. Let me also tell you, the top 5 countries that had their independence. I want you to show me where a country called Palau. Palau is an independent country. They have population of about 21,500 people. Are you aware of that? A country called Palau. Palau got independence in 1994. They had about 2,100 people as a population. Do you see any crisis there? The answer is no. It is not a matter of population. It is not a matter of size. But I'm telling you today that Palau as a country, independent state, they got their independence in 1994, and there are just 21,000 people in that country. Do you also know about East Timor? East Timor got its independence in the year 2002. Why? Even though there may be some kind of disagreement there as a part of society, but it is not the kind of disagreement, it is not the kind of crisis you have in a very dangerous country where you have dangerous diversity like Nigeria. You also may have heard about Montenegro and Serbia. Montenegro and Serbia got their independence in 2006. Do you see any crisis killing like in South Sudan? The answer is no. So the question is why? Why are they not killing in Montenegro? Why are there not killings in Serbia? Why are there not crises like in these places like in South Sudan? Because South Sudan in Africa has been subjugated to mental torture for 30 good years of war. Why would the UN allow South Sudan to fight a very bloody war for 30 good years? It has affected their mental capacity and they are no longer normal. So the people who are going to enjoy South Sudan will be the generation that is coming. And by then, you are going to use South Sudan as a case study of countries that have worked and progressed. Another country is Kosovo. Kosovo got independence in 2008. Do you have in Kosovo the kind of crisis you have in South Sudan? The answer is no. Why South Sudan got its independence in 2011? 2011. From 2011 to now, you are using South Sudan as a case study why you cannot support Biafra. It is very absurd. So what we are saying is we need to copy. We need to copy. Copy is allowed. Look at how Europeans were able to disintegrate their country along tribal line. Biafra, Oduduwa, Amazonia, and all this country must be allowed to go their separate way. To give the opportunity to develop according to how they want to develop their country. We talk about our leaders going to pay homage to other leaders of the world. It is because of inferiority complex. Because of inferiority complex, because of greed, because of ignorance. Ignorant in the sense that, tell me if during the 1960s or before 1960s, Uhuru Kenyatta father will come to Biafra for refuge. And the Biafra people granted him protection. We gave him food. In Enugu State today, in Enugu State in Biafra land, we even named the street before Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta's father. Our territory, our street were named after Uhuru Kenyatta for fighting for the freedom of his people. But what are we getting today in return? We are getting backstabbing and betrayal from the same man we helped his father. Had it been that Uhuru Kenyatta's father did not come to Biafra, who would know his fate today? Who would know what will become of this current Kenya president today? Nobody knows. I have not come to this conference to insult him. But this is the part of problem of Africa. Betrayal, betrayal, betrayal. When we are talking of how to develop Africa, how to be on top of this game in global village, globally, we see people who are educated, who knows laws, who knows treaties, who understand what diplomacy means. They are breaching it, betraying their own people with impunity. We saw Uhuru Kenyatta in London. The Kenya have come to give a statement denying their involvement. But the question is, were Mazi Nnamdi Kanu actually in Kenya? The answer is yes. This is part of the problem of Africa. We need to begin to understand that a disintegrated Africa will favor every one of us. We need to understand that as France and the French people are sending troops to Africa, they are sending troops to Africa because they are comfortable in their own country. The question is, what makes French so comfortable in their own country? Is because they have one language, they have one cultural value, they understand each other, they know that dividing along tribal line will keep them on top of the world. They know that the system of government the European Union have adopted will continue to keep them on top of everybody. We also want to enjoy the democracy. We want to enjoy a good society. We want to live like them because Africa is where you get all the natural and mineral resources that you see today that Europeans, America, Asians are using to develop their own country. Professor Lumumba made a very important pronouncement, very important references on this conference today. And I agree with most of the things, if not all. The question now is, how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? We will solve this problem by confronting our problem in Africa. We cannot solve this problem by shying away. When we see the problem confronting us, standing right before us, we need to confront it and solve it. How do we confront this problem? Everybody must start to speak and understand that the liberation of Africa starts from Nigeria. The liberation of Africa starts from Nigeria. The end of insurgency in Africa starts from Nigeria. Africa needs a country that will become a role model to other countries in Africa. As it stands today, like Professor Lumumba said, the leaders of Africa have failed. There are few leaders who can do and still stand on their word. But many of these African leaders have failed, and they will continue to fail. There is only one opportunity, only one possibility to solve it, is by looking into the Africa most populous country, Nigeria. Nigeria that sponsors terrorists, Nigeria that sponsors terrorism, Nigeria that sponsors extraordinary rendition, Nigeria that sponsors kidnapping, Nigeria that go into another man's country to kidnap and repatriate a suspect. How do you think that Nigeria and Africa is going to be better? When you see one another betraying one, when you see one country betraying another, breaching their other country's law with impunity. How can you have a better Africa when Uhuru Kenyatta is the chairman of African Union or something, and you see another African country coming inside his own country to have somebody kidnapped? And today, nobody is talking about it. How can you have a better country? How can you have a better continent? How can you have a better Africa with that kind of mentality? Everybody have suddenly realized that Gaddafi was doing a good job. Because of the absence of Gaddafi today, you were able to know that Gaddafi was the man that has been doing a good job. It was because of the fall of Libya that the crisis, arms and ammunition spread all over Africa. Who brought those arms to Libya? Who brought those arms to Libya? It was Obama. Where is Obama? Where is Obama from? Obama's father is from Kenya. Kenya. And Obama sponsored rebels in Libya against a sitting president called Gaddafi. They pumped arms and ammunition into Libya rebels in Africa to destabilize the North Africa. Today, we are seeing the consequences of what Obama did in Libya. There is now free arm movement in entire Africa. Boko Haram, ISWAP, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, all of them using American weapons that was shipped to Libya to overthrow Gaddafi. Now, which one is better? Is it that Gaddafi could have been allowed to live and continue his evil, if there is any evil at all? Or would you now look back to the days of Gaddafi and say you are now proud Africa for supporting the invasion of Libya? When Gaddafi was killed, the same African leaders was the one who sold and betrayed Gaddafi. All these African leaders, African president, they supported the American invasion in Libya. And that is exactly what Lumumba has pointed out. They take instructions from other countries. It is very, very worrisome and very absurd if we continue to allow these ignorant, incompetent leaders in Africa to continue. We have the possibility, we have the opportunity, we are in a better position as people of the modern age to tell how we want Africa to be. And we have come to realize that the problem of Africa is because we did not divide along tribal line. The countries of Africa will undergo a process that will now reshaping Africa. And that process has started in Nigeria. The process is not going to be very easy. We want to have a referendum in Nigeria to enable us set the ground for a better Africa. But like everybody knows, they say you cannot get freedom by peaceful means. You cannot get freedom by peaceful means. But there are countries who have conducted referendum and they have their independence. I am calling on all leaders today in Africa to remember that if you turn your back on Nigeria, if you turn your back and close your back on Nigeria, if you say it is not your business, let me tell you, the time is coming when it is going to be your business. By the time the terrorists take over Nigeria, it will become your business. By then, you would be saying, had I known, I would have supported Biafra people. Let me tell you, Nigerians will invade your country for asylum. Nigerians will invade your country for asylum. And after they deal with Nigeria, capture Nigeria, which is, by the way, at this point, the most populous African country, do you think that your country of 4 million, do you think that your country of 5 million, do you think that your country of 20 million will not be run over by the terrorists from Nigeria? If that is what you are thinking, think again after this conference today. If terrorists can run over 200 million in Nigeria, What is your country? What is your capacity? What is your military strength? If the terrorists being sponsored by Nigerian government can hold Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Niger Republic, and Nigeria to ransom, what makes you think that your country will not be invaded and attacked in due time? What you do to Nigeria today, as you are talking on behalf of Biafrans, you are also saving the future of your own country. If you refuse to do that, the time is coming when the terrorists that are terrorizing Nigeria today will remember your country and they will remember your region. And when that time comes, you must have missed the opportunity you should have used to support Biafrans, to support Biafra independence, so that by the time Nigeria disintegrates, you are going to have Oduduwa nation, which will have military power. You are going to have Biafra nation, which is going to have their own military strength. You are going to have the Middle Belt, which is going to have their own military strength. And without infiltration of the terrorists, without being compromised, we will rise up together and fight terrorists and chase them away from the region of Sahel. When we succeed in doing that, we have made Africa a safer place for everybody. Do not think that today, because of Nigeria predicament, it is not your business. We have Al-Shabaab in Kenya. Al-Shabaab is very active in Kenya, although they are not as active as the terrorists in Sahel. But I'm telling you to think about it. By the time Boko Haram join forces with Al-Shabaab in Kenya, they will run over you people in a couple of months. By the time they found safe haven in Nigeria, make Nigeria the safe haven, put their hand in our oil money, in our natural resources. They are already mining gold and other mineral resources in Nigeria. By the time they find safe haven in Nigeria, they are going to join hand with Al-Shabaab. And once they join hand with Al-Shabaab, I want to know how many population you have in Kenya. It will not take them long to run over you. How many population do you have in Mozambique? It will not take them long to run over you. This is a long-term planning that we all must rise up. As you are solving Biafra problem, you are solving your future problem. Don't say that Nigeria problem does not concern you. So long as you are an African, Nigeria problem is your problem. So long as you find yourself in African soil, Nigeria problem is your problem. We have also had the United Nations, the United States Intelligence Agency reporting that the terrorists were trying to work together in Nigeria. That was 2 years ago. Today, ISWAP has joined forces with Boko Haram. Today, they have elected governor in Borno State in the northeast of Nigeria. Today, they have their own government within government. So if you think that this is not your problem, it is your problem. Professor Lumumba, I must commend you. We want to see more of you, Professor Lumumba, because you are one of the respected person in Africa. You have been the one talking and preaching to government officials in Africa. We want to see more of you because your word is taken very, very seriously in Africa. So, Professor Lumumba, this job of educating African leaders, it is not we cannot just only focus on telling them corruption. We have to also focus on enlightening them, telling them why the corruption has persisted. The corruption has persisted means because the people, the structure of countries in Africa, they are fraudulent structure. And you cannot build a better society in a frontline foundation. You can't stop. You cannot stop corruption in Africa when the foundation is faulty. So let us leave corruption and focus on the problem that is bringing and aiding and abetting corruption activity in Africa, which is that the structure and the foundation is faulty. And we need to go back to drawing board. We need to go back to the European structure where they divide along tribal line. You think in those days that the crisis you are having in Africa today, you did not witness them in Europe? The crises are there in Yugoslavia, in Russia, in Czechoslovakia. All these places witnessed this crisis. What gave birth to this crisis was the diversity. It could not work. European Union decided to divide along tribal line to avoid any kind of political turmoil. Today they are progressing along tribal line. So my brother, my professor, my learned brother and friend, Professor Lumumba, let us focus on telling Africa where the problem started, how it could be solved. The corruption can never end in Africa if you did not address it from the fundamental and from the foundation, which is the foundation and the structure of each country in Africa. We need to begin to look inward, divide ourselves along tribal line, and we are going to start from Nigeria. Thank you very much for having me today, and let me know if I'm going to make a different presentation in the afternoon of this program. Thank you, Professor Lumumba. Thank you, viewers, other panelists. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga, for having me, and I rest my case here.